Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the Swedish Tier 8 Premium Heavy Tank, the Emil 1951. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Emil 1951. This is a vehicle that is the alter ego of the Barracuda Emil, which basically has some spaced armour on the upper plate and a slightly worse reload. This vehicle loses the spaced armour on the upper plate that the Barracuda gets, which is helpful in some ways, but not in others. It's basically decent against tier 6s and 7s, but not much else other than that. The Emil 1951 loses that upper plate armour to gain 2 seconds better reload. And to be honest, it's worth it. It's worth it. Having the 2 seconds better reload and not having to sit around for 2 seconds longer to get this clip into the tank is definitely very, very nice. And it's also an alter ego of the Emil 1, which is the tech tree version. The tech tree version gets 320 alpha with a 4-shot autoloader. This gets a 3-shot autoloader with 360 alpha. And it also puts that damage out faster. So while the reload on the clip, when you've got it fully equipped out, is about a second faster than the Emil 1, it also puts the clip out faster because it's got a 2.75 second intra-clip reload, whereas the Emil 1 has a 3-second intra-clip reload. So generally it puts the damage out a bit faster, it hits a bit harder, and it reloads that ever so slightly faster, which generally makes the Emil 1951 my favourite out of the 3, and I do quite like the Emil 1951. The big problem for this vehicle is that its key strength is its turret armour, and its turret armour in 12 degrees of gun depression is lovely. But when you go against tier 9s and 10s, the turret armour becomes pointless and they go straight through the front of it, which can be very, very sad for the Emil 1951. It's an Emil problem in general, the Emil 1 and the Barracuda as well. They both suffer the same fate, that it puts a lot into the fact that you have godly gun depression and turret armour, well, godly gun depression and good turret armour until you come against tier 9s and 10s where it just falls down. But I do like the Emil 1951, like I say. The gun's a bit derpy, which can be a bit frustrating, but it can put out the damage pretty nicely. It's fairly mobile for a heavy tank as well, and that 12 degrees of gun depression is absolutely beautiful. And it actually has the Black Edition skin as well from 2021, which with the recent update for Black Friday means it actually has a 65% tank XP bonus, so it makes better XP, which helps a little bit, but to be fair, it's a premium tank. You don't really need an XP bonus as much, but hey-ho. The Emil 1951, it's got a 47.25 km/h top speed and 16.8 km/h reverse speed. 420 horsepower engine is 15.93 horsepower per ton ratio, which means you do get there just about. It can feel a little bit sluggish off the mark and a bit sluggish to get to the top speed, but you will get to that 47 km/h top speed, which makes it feel fairly mobile. 20% internal fire chances on the high end of fire chances, and again, if you get shot in the engine block, it generally likes getting set on fire, so do be careful of that. You've got a 30.42 degree a second hull rotation speed, which means it's not exactly quick, but it's not exactly slow to turn left and right on the tracks, but the turret traverse is 26.11 degree a second, and that is slower than the tracks, and it is pretty slow to turn the turret, which can lead to a bit of frustration at times, especially if you don't really like it when the turret traverse is slower than the tracks. You've got a 1.8 on soft, 1.12 on medium, and 1.13 on firm, which ground resistance is fairly average. Again, they don't particularly hold the tank that badly, which is alright. You've got 450 metres of view range, which means the tank is a little bit blind, but at least you're over that 445 metres view range cap, which can be decent for the Emil 1951. But again, it's not going to outspot some of the more stealthy tanks out there. And in terms of the gun handling, you've got a 0.95 accuracy during rotation with a 3.54 accuracy during movement. Oh, that's not very good at all. The accuracy during movement on this vehicle is really not great. The accuracy during rotation, again, is bang average, meaning the aim circle does bloom out quite a lot in the Emil 1951, and that can be a bit of pain, as you have a 2.54 second aim time, which you really do feel in this vehicle. That aim circle bloom is quite bad in this vehicle. As you have a 0.38 accuracy at 100 metres as well, which is, again, on the derpier end of the scale, and if you're not fully aimed in, this gun does like getting shots to fly left, right and centre, which can be a bit frustrating when you do miss the shots, as obviously you're spending time aiming this gun or reloading this gun. You've got 12 degrees of gun depression, though, which is incredibly flexible for this vehicle, and it's where this tank wants to be. It wants to be on a ridgeline, going using that 12 degrees gun depression, bouncing the odd shot here and there off of its turret front, and then dishing out this 3-shot auto-loading clip, which reloads in 31 seconds. As we finish that first game there with the 2 kills, 2.9k damage, 1129 assistance, the first class with the 1495 base XP. Fairly average game there for the Emil 1951, and actually pretty decent for saying we're in a tier 10 lobby there. But yeah, 31 seconds to reload this 3-shot clip. Like I say, it can feel like quite a long time, especially if you miss some of the shots, because the gun handling is fairly derpy on it. Never sugarcoat the gun handling on this vehicle. It can be derpy and frustrating at times when it does miss the shots. But yeah, a 31 second reload does feel a little bit long at times. And you have a 2.75 second intra-clip reload, which, again, it takes 5.5 seconds to dump all of the shells from firing the first shot, which means it's not the speediest clip dumper in the universe. It's not like some of the vehicles that have 2-second intra-clip or faster than that, where they go in, go bang, 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 and run away dead easily. This vehicle will take a little bit of time to get those shots out, and generally once you fire the first shot and pen them, you have that little bit of time where the enemy tank might be able to react to you being able to try and dump your shots into them. You've got 217 penetration on the standard APCR, which is around the average mark for a tier 8 tank these days, but it is a little bit low, and it means it can struggle generally with some of the vehicles you'll face in the tier 9 and 10 region, which means you need to load the premium rounds, which are 242 penetration. Now that is low. The premium round penetration on this vehicle is a bit low compared to what you'll end up facing and what a lot of the other tanks at this tier tend to have. They tend to have about that 250, 260 mark, which means you will struggle against some of the more heavily armoured vehicles at tier 9 and 10, which can be, again, a bit frustrating, especially when you have to hit that extreme weak spot to be able to pen them, and this gun is a little bit derpy. You've got 360 alpha on the gun, like I say, with 1,080 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APCR and 1,350 meters a second shell velocity on the premium APCR, which means the premium APCR are fantastic. They feel amazing to use. They make the gun handling feel even better because that velocity is really, really nice. And as it is a premium tank, it does have a 150% silver bonus, which means it does make decent silver as well. But that's obviously depending on the matchup, seeing as it depends on what matchup you're in to have to fire premium rounds, and that eats into your silver profit. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment on the Emil 1951? Well, the same as I run on the Emil 1 and the Barracuda. I run Born Leader, Situational Awareness, Track Mechanic, Running Gun, Snapshot, Clutch Braking, Expert Gunner, Rapid Aim, Off-Road Driving, with the Optics, Gun Stabilizer, Vents, and the Turbo. Turbo to be able to get that slightly better top speed, but also have the better power to weight ratio, so that we can hit the top speed that little bit easier, and off-road driving helps that as well to get the ground resistances that little bit better. Clutch braking and rapid aim to be able to get the best out of the track and turret traverse, as again they are fairly slow if you don't help them on this vehicle. The gun stabilizer with snapshot and run and gun to get the accuracy during movement and rotation as good as humanly possible, so this aim circle doesn't bloom out massively. I mean, it still does, but just not as badly as it would if we hadn't helped it. The optics to be able to get the best view range on the vehicle, so we can get it up to 450 meters. That's why we run vents as well, which will help the reload, accuracy, aim time, all that good stuff in little increments, and every little helps with vents. You could definitely swap out with this build. You could definitely swap out either the vents or the turbocharger of something like GLD to make the aim time better and that sort of stuff, but I run vents as well generally because otherwise we don't get above that 445 meter spotting cap, and that's just something that I want to get better. And then Expert Gunner to be able to reduce the effect of distance on our penetration, because that gets us up to 204 millimeters of penetration at 500 meters, or 226 on the premium, which is better than it was without Expert Gunner, and then also increasing our chance of doing module damage by 6%. Again, plenty of different ways to set up the vehicle. It's really down to you and how you want to kit it out. As again, you could definitely run a GLD to be able to get the aim time to go better on this vehicle, because the aim time can feel a bit painful at times. There's plenty of ways you could run it. You could also run the, grousers, the additional grousers if you wanted to be able to get better ground resistances and have better track traverse. I wouldn't really recommend that probably, but you could. It's something you could do, but it's really down to how you want to set up the vehicle to get the best out of it, because how I set it up might not work for you. So, This second game here on this map, which is Duckler Pass, we're up to 2.5k damage. We just got a couple of shots there into the 5100, get shot into the back of the SU-122-54, and he gets shut down by the Night Stalker. We're in a pretty decent position here for the Emil 1951, as we do have that 12 degrees of gun depression, and we can use these rocks perfectly to do it. But as you've already seen, we do struggle a little bit in terms of getting up these rock ledges with soapy rock problems and physics and all that sort of stuff, where the game goes, yeah, you know what? You can just slippity slide all over these rocks and you will struggle to get your traction. But what we've noticed is that the enemy team has actually started to come up behind us. They've just killed all the dudes that were on the ledge at F3, F4. So we're going to go try and use the 12 degrees gun depression here to get shots into the rear of people like Mr. AMBT. Which you get one into him, get two. Hopefully we'll get the third in. And as you can see here, this is where the slightly slow intro clip can be a bit of a pain for the Emil, as it gave the AMBT time to swivel around, get a shot into us. We got shot by something that we didn't even spot at the back of the map, lost most of our hit points, and the Night Stalker just YOLO'd in and killed us. We'll finish with the victory, 1 kill, 3.9k damage, the little bit of blocked with the second class and the 1442 base XP. Again, a decent game there for the Emil 1951 in a tier 9 lobby on Duckler Pass. It's just one of those moments where all of a sudden we took a shot in the side of the turret, we took a shot from the AMBT through our side as we were angling for shots at him, and then, yeah, sad times for us in the end. But thankfully, our team managed to carry it through to the end, because I think they ended up capping it out. But, yeah, that's the Emil 1951. It can be like that. And the one thing that you've got to be careful of with the Emil 1951, like I say, the turret armor on the front is very, very good. It's very, very good for a tier 8. If you're in a tier 6, tier 7, tier 8 game, you will bounce a lot of shots off the turret front. As soon as you get into those tier 9 and 10 games, yeah, the turret armor really does start to falter. But the one thing you do have to be truly careful of is ever so slightly turning the turret to face away from someone. Because as soon as you turn the turret slightly to the side, the armor on it becomes extremely weak. And I mean, like, extremely weak. As it's 30mm of side armor on the turret, on the back of it. So as soon as you turn it ever so slightly, there is so many vehicles that you'll go against that can actually overmatch the side of this turret, which can be pretty damn frustrating, and especially since the ammo rack is in that section as well. That can be painful for the Emil 1951. Not to mention, as soon as you turn it from the front and ever so slightly to the left or right, the side profile as well in general, which is angled, actually becomes fairly easy for a lot of tanks to pen as well. It's just such an awkward turret in the fact that it's so good when you are top tier, but then after that, it's just pure pain. So this third replay, we're here on this map, which is Live Oaks, and we took Dip or Die. From our spawn, we have to do Dip or Die. We have to go into the dip and push aggressively, because if we go and sit back at the position at GH0, you lose the game automatically, because the enemy team can just encircle you and kill you very, very easily. Now, one of our tanks actually pushed very, very aggressively in on the MBTB, and with me having a fully loaded clip and their team all sitting back on this ledge here, I kind of went, okay, you know what? I'm coming to help. We managed to drop a couple of shots in as we came over. We took a hit, though, from the chisel. Now we're just looking for shots into Mr. E4. Now, we've got a whole host of scary tanks in front of us, especially for a tier 8 tank. There's a whole host of scary tanks. Mr. Death Star, who I'm pretty sure has a death wish. We actually tracked him there to try and make it so it's easier for people to pen him. And then, well, he didn't actually take any shots when we tracked him. But yeah, a whole host of awful tanks to face, really. E4, Rogel Dawn, 277, the Death Star. You know, the Death Star yellows over, he can just one-shot us. The E4 yellows over, he can literally just go straight through any part of our tank. The Rogel Dawn Fire and Premium can do the same. 277 can do the same. The Chisel can do the same. And it's going to be a bit awkward for us to pen quite a few of those tanks. We can't really pen them with 217 pen, so we're having to load the Premium 242 penetration APCR. So what we have to do is play support. We cannot be the tank sitting there going, ha, try and shoot at me while I shoot at you, and take the attention away from our team. We have to basically go, okay, our team is pressuring them. let's go and put our clip in where we can while they're distracted. As you can see, that's what I'm trying to do with Mr. E4, but Mr. E4 is just getting away. We managed to get 2 shots into the chisel, which was good, which took some of his hit points away, and before he could fire, got ourselves back below the ridgeline. Again, this is the perfect place for an Emil 1951 as well, seeing as we have that 12 degrees of gun depression, which is a thing of beauty. This is perfect, because they're going to struggle for gun depression, a lot of these, to get the shots down on us, whereas we can depress our gun to an extreme angle to be able to keep firing at them while getting away from them. So you can see I'm being as careful as possible with this E4, because the E4, literally, if he high rolls, could actually kill me. So I just need to be so careful here, because again, if he fires at us, any shell that he fires catches a shot at us, it will pen us. But our team are trying to push around on these guys. So we go, okay, let's get some shots into the T95E6. Thankfully, the Rogel Dawn is actually not using his main cannon there. He was using the auto-loader, his multi-weapon system auto-loader, and bounced 2 of those shots straight off our turret front. If he was firing the premium from his big main gun, again, he would have gone straight through the front of the turret. So we only managed to get a couple of shots there into the T95E6 and then went straight into a reload. Because again, there's no point really holding on to 1 shot. There's no point really holding on to 2 shots. You just need to get a full reload in. When we're in the situation where I know I can pull back behind the ridge, get the full reload, and then try and go over and get extra shots in. Because the more I can take advantage of them firing and dump these shells, the better. So we're going for the cupola shot here on the Rogel Dawn, but we just end up bouncing off the spaced armor section. The E4 was looking for us, so again, we're being exceptionally careful. Get the shot there into the cupola of the Rogel Dawn, and there we go. The Rogel Dawn fires his premium round from his gun into the front of the turret, goes straight through, and ends up putting us down to 221 hit points, which is, again, fairly awkward, as we could end up getting shut down. Thankfully, the E4 gets shut down by the T54E2, which is great, and Mr. Rogel Dawn ends up killing the T32, and that means that everyone that was here with us is now dead, which is kind of awkward. I'm thinking if this Rogel Dawn YOLOs, and I don't laugh at the back of the room. I know, YOLO Rogel Dawn, what are you on about? It's slow, I get it. If that guy just decides to press forward and come towards us, there's not much we could do about it. Yeah, we could try and shoot the cupolas, we could shoot the lower plate. Sure, we could do that, but he's still going to kill us. So we have to be as careful as possible, but thankfully, Mr. Machine is coming in. The hero of the day, Mr. Tier 10 Heavy Tank, is going to come in, hopefully distract the Rogel Dawn, so that we can try and support him and get rid of it. He takes the hit. Okay, perfect. We go over, use the 12 degrees gun depression, start putting shots there into his cupola, and Mr. Machine ends up shutting down. That's exactly what we needed. In that situation, there was no real hope for us of being able to get much into that Rogel Dawn, because again, the penetration that guy's got, you've already seen it, it goes straight through the front of the turret. So, with him now gone, and that 5100 we got 1 shot into, we can now reposition to go after the medium tank that's towards our base at D7. There's only 2 tanks left on the team, the medium tank and a heavy tank. We don't know where the heavy tank is. We know where the medium is, that AMX-30B. He was spotted at D8. And again, this is the perfect sort of scenario for an Emil 1951, where we can use that 12 degrees of gun depression, just poke over and fire at them if they get spotted. So we're just going to wait. Again, we're a 1 shot for everything. We will die if we push too aggressively, so we have to be absolutely patient. The heavy tank gets spotted at C6, but gets unspotted pretty quickly, clearly using radio jamming. And there we go. There's the M6Y finally getting spotted in the open. And this is the perfect chance for us to be able to get shots into the side or rear of this dude. But unfortunately for us, he ends up getting behind something where we couldn't quite see him to get any shots in, and he gets himself unspotted once again. So we're just going to sit and wait, because again, they have to we have to go cap. This is something that happens. We have to cap because it's assault, or we have to kill them. But at the same time, there's not much I can do. I can't push. I push, I die. Both those 2 tanks will end up killing us. So we've got the 2 rounds left after getting 1 shot into him, and there we go. The MX-30B gets spotted, so we aim the shot up, put 1 into his upper plate, should be able to pen him with the 2nd shell, and we ricochet. The pure paper tank, we ricochet. Angles, man. APCR and angles. Pain. As we bounce off that 30B. But we're up to 4.8k damage, 872 assistance. We're just reloading that final clip. And I'm looking at the time going, it might be a time where I have to just go. I have to just go and try and push him, get him spotted. But in fact, there we go. He gets spotted, we push over, make sure we're just going to get this shot fully aimed in for when we're reloaded, and thankfully we do get the chance to actually shut down that tier 10 medium tank and finish the game with a really nice total there for the Emil 1951 in what was a pretty nasty matchup, and we finished with the victory, 1 kill, 4.9k damage, 872 assistance damage, the ace tanker, the sniper, the Confederate medal for 2.2k base XP. Great game for the Emil 1951, which is a vehicle that I do enjoy playing, and out of the 3 variants of the Emil 1, in the Emil 1951, the Barracuda and the Emil 1, I do prefer this one the most, just for that extra little bit of reload and all that sort of stuff. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!